Hi there. My name is Roger Williams, and this is part of the Congruent Lights series of videos. It's called French Cities Elevation, and the presentation was originally created after I saw a user request for Wolfram Alpha. The request was, I want to know the top 10 cities in Germany by population. Now I changed this to elevation rather than population in the presentation below, although the application still uses population. The application and a code presentation is below to show someone, maybe a social scientist or a programmer helping such a person, how to get Mathematica to emit this info. Now the sample application is an example research application where we want to display a map of a random world country with its top 10 cities by population and their location on the map. Further, with the names of the cities, there's a hyperlink to drive Wolfram Alpha with additional data about the city, such as the current weather. And it uses some supplementary code which is provided on the website but is not shown here. So let's give it a shot. And it's going out there, and so we have Ghana. We have the top 10 cities in Ghana along with their population. Then there's a map here of Ghana. And actually, I believe there's some tooltips for the cities. So Kumasi, I don't recognize any of these cities, is there. Obuasi is here. And Tamale is here. And so I can go up here and I can get another random city, a random country. Here's Republic of Congo. Again, I don't recognize any of these cities. You can see these cities are hot. They apparently go somewhere. So I'll just do a couple more. Here's Mali. These are all in Africa. And here's some cities in the UK. I obviously recognize these to a greater degree. And here's some cities in Turkey, which I've never heard of. And I'm guessing Istanbul is here, and Bursa I've never heard of. Konya. So obviously this application is pulling a tremendous amount of data back. It has the graph, the points of the map. It has the names of the cities. It has the populations. And I'll pound on one of these here, Gaziantep. And that will fire me over to Alpha, where it shows the population of the city and the population of the metro area, a map showing where it is, and in the local time it's 9:30 at night, and it's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. And here's some other cities. So obviously this application has a lot of capabilities, and it's pretty extensive. So let's talk about how this was made, how something like this can be made. So Mathematica has a tremendous amount of curated data. This time we're going to talk mostly about cities and countries in the area of geography, economics, statistics, social statistics. So what data about cities are available? I talk about here the completion with city. So I'll go ahead here and just start with city, and then I'll do Control K, and it'll fill in city data for me. So I'll get a list of all cities. Now how many would I guess there are in this system? I don't know. So let's see how many there are. There's 163,000 cities. I would never guess there would be that many available to me. And I want to see them. I could just type it in, but I wonder if there are a lot. I'm going to just do a little short 5-line display. And so there's Beijing, Shanghai, then there's Bombay. I recognize all of those. And then there's 163,423 in the middle. And then here's some out in the Marshall Islands, which I can't even pronounce. So obviously, there's a lot of different cities here. And maybe we can separate them by country. And from looking at the previous page, I can see that the third entry in each item, so here's an item, is the country. And so I'm going to pick out the places where the string matches, the third item, the string matches China. So I'll get all the cities that the system has in China. And I wonder how many of them there are. I don't know. Out of 163,000? There's 900 cities, Chinese cities in this system, which is quite broad. I don't think I can name more than 2 or 3. So again, we'll look at a short listing of the ones that are from China. Beijing and Shanghai, I recognize. Wuhan, I've never heard of. There's 899 of them in the middle. And then there's some that I definitely have never heard of. Gue, Ehrenhout, and Suifen. So there's 905 of them, and these are here's some examples of what they look like. Now what about the French cities? That's theoretically what we're chasing. So I'll get the list of French cities. I wonder how many there are. So there's 36,000 French cities. So there were 900 Chinese cities, and there are 1,300 French cities. I never would have expected this. So I only know a few French cities as well. Let's see what French cities it dumps out. Paris and Marseille I've heard of. Then there's 36,000 of them in the middle. Then there's La Mitry and Rochefort. Let's get 7 lines here. Lyon I've heard of. And then again, these at the bottom I've never heard of. So, what are some attributes for each of the items in city data? And luckily, there's only a small number here. There's an alternate name. There's a coordinate. There's a country. And look, there's elevation for each of those cities. Now, all those cities may not have elevation filled in. We may not be able to get reports from China of elevations of some of the cities. And so there's population, name, latitude, longitude, region, what region it's in, blah, blah. Now, what was the problem that we originally were supposedly trying to solve? So what you want is to make a simple report giving a list of 15 random cities in France. Now remember, there's 36,000 cities in this system, French cities, and their respective elevation. So to do this, we're going to first get a random integer between 1 and the length of all the French cities, which is 36,000. So I'll get a random integer in that range. And there's a random integer, 34,965. Let's run it a few more times to test for randomness. 22,000. 4,900. So these are just numbers that are between 1 and the 36,000, all the cities we have in France. And it looks kind of random. So get however many we need. We need 15 of these. So let's get 15 random numbers. And none of these appear to be bigger than the 36,000, and none appear to be smaller than 1. So I'll do this a few times to make sure it's random. And then from there, I'm going to take that list and index into the list of French cities. So what I have now is 15 random French cities, most of which I've never heard of. Saint Fiacre, I don't know. Los Masos, Cusinoy, and I can run this again to get 15 other random French cities. So you can see how rich this is. This is obviously a very rich system. I'll just bang out a few here. Random French cities, 15 of them. So we have the cities.